Good morning. Good morning. I just woke up. You can tell. I want to talk to you a little bit about my current situation. I recently went through like a breakup, and in the midst of this breaking up, it takes such a mature individual to not tell the world about another person's flaws and another person's mistakes and what another person has done wrong. It takes a lot to display that humility. One thing that I've learned in relationships is you're dealing with an individual who may have their own baggage, right? Who may have their own traumas, who may have their own. But the focus in the midst of the relationship is being the best person that you could be for the relationship and allowing yourself to watch them grow, blossom, advance, excel, escalate. But see, what my issue was is I had to realize that even though I could have potentially been dating someone who has dealt with trauma in their past, that I myself am a woman who has dealt with childhood trauma. And so, in the event of getting in a relationship with somebody, you have to be cognizant, aware if you're dealing with someone who has dealt with trauma also, because potentially you could be connected over trauma bonding. And if there is anything in the relationship that don't complement you as a person, where you're going and how you want to be treated, those are most definitely things that would have to be taken under consideration. The hardest part of the transition is me knowing that I'm a woman who likes to stay together. I'm a woman who likes to build and work shit out. I'm always telling people, that was small. You can work shit out. And when I look at the dynamics of my relationship and what happened and how things panned out, everything I do believe was something that two grown up individuals can work out. But the only dynamic, the only downside, the only difference was an individual making themselves vulnerable enough to work it out. One thing that I had acknowledged was I had a tendency, a history of dating emotionally unavailable men, dating men who were, that dealt with trauma, or men who just, there was always something. But one thing I learned was I told myself no matter what I experience, I'm never going to judge a person for being where they are. I'm never going to assume that they should have been the way that I wanted them to be, even though me coming from a traumatic situation myself, I've always been I've always been over observant of a person's characteristics and a person's traits and what they did to please me or to suffice me. And I always used to be a little nitpicky, like, hey, you said that and you should have did this, or you said that. And that was something that I had to jot down so that I can work on my own healing and growth. And why I'm so meticulous about everything, I say that's always been my defense. That's always been what's helped me to stay away from people who really didn't have my best interests at heart, paying attention to their behavior, paying attention to the words they say and the things they do. And sometimes that could become very irritating for a partner, but in actuality, if there is real love, then of course you love a person through the situations. One thing I acknowledged about this situation was there was a lot of differences. But not differences that were too hard to bear, but yet differences that I had to decide whether they complement me, where I'm going, and what it is that I'm working towards, or if it's something that I just see as a now experience. There was many incidents where I literally felt like I was there for a season because of the type of conversations we would have or the type of things that was said. And the hardest thing is to hear that you're there for a season, or you're literally there to build a person up, or you're there to be, eye candy, or whatever the case may be, and your mind is set on together and another individual mind is set on the now. What can you do for me now? How can I? And that's just how I felt. There was a lot of things said that could have potentially mentally conditioned my whole being. You know what I mean? A lot of energy draining, a lot of things that I didn't see reciprocated in regards to the emotional aspect or in regards to the things that complement who I am. And the hardest thing ever is not to put your partner or ex-partner through a smear campaign. The hardest thing ever is to see the things for what they are and allow life to live and say, hey, there was a lot I learned, and I don't believe in breaking up, but honestly, at the end of the day, when someone breaks up with you, what option do you have but to continue to move forward? Like, needless to say, I will never talk bad, downgrade, disrespect a connection that I allowed myself to be in. If I've chosen to be involved in a relationship with somebody, which we all possess good and bad qualities, it's just, are the bad qualities complementary to what it is you're doing and where you're going to be? Or do they feel like they're going to be bad qualities that will deplete you in the long run? Not once have I spoke negative about the person. I've spoke about my truth in regards to what I experienced, because there's always two sides to a story. And usually people who are dealing with psychological differences or anything that could have came from childhood trauma or bad relationships, and they've told themselves they'll never love again or whatever, they may have vendettas against the opposite sex, who knows? I'll never speak bad about a person. I always told myself, and even still to this day, I will tell myself, that person just was where they was when we met along this journey. When we met, when we connected, I can't say this person did this and this person did that. It was just where they were when we met. We were vibrating on two different frequencies. If we're vibrating on two different frequencies, that's not a bad thing. That's just that person's frequency didn't align with mine at the time, or mine didn't align with theirs. And as it relates to, the whole aspect of breaking up, again, I'm an advocate of staying together. Whatever the fuck I go through with my partner, as long as it's not physical, verbal abuse or, cheating and, not being real about the type of relationship you want to have with me. You want to have an open relationship? You want to do this? You want to do that? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? But I have to realize, or I've realized, that a person just is where they are. They're not wrong for being where they are, because I do believe in elevation and growth. And if you can't do that together, and you haven't chosen to do that together, then the only other option is to do that apart. And if someone ends a relationship with me and they feel like it's best for me because I need my peace and they don't want to be a burden and they need their peace, then sometimes that's the healthiest thing. But I do believe that relationships can grow through a lot of things if both individuals are willing and able and wanting to excel, because that is genuine, pure love. But in the event you ever feel by any, like for example, in this relationship, I'm very connected to universe. I'm very connected to the energies that are with me. In this particular relationship, I said, hey, if there's any manipulation, if there's any lies, if there's any deceit, if there's anything that is not pure, like I'm coming in this relationship pure, honest, loyal, imperfect, but yet giving my all. Like I was told that this person sacrificed everything for me, but I sacrificed a lot too. But if I'm coming in with a pure heart and I'm asking universe, if there's anything that is out of alignment with the pure heart that I have to build towards the future, please reveal it to me. Once I did that, you guys, once I asked for things to be revealed to me, everything started coming out on the forefront. Even that day, I started seeing and revealing, universe was revealing a lot of things to me that was like, you couldn't possibly be the woman that this man loves. And I had to sit back and tell myself, though you love him and you don't want to go anywhere, don't leave him, because you have to see how willing he is to elevate with you if he really loves you. But I asked universe to show me things, and it did.